Malcolm Boyd, and I'm here till 1. Use me, if you please. It's 03459 311 111's the telephone number. You can text, of course, 81333, starting your message with the word Oxford. And I'm malcolm.boyden@bbc.co.uk. So, what to do with a disused loo? All week we've been talking about these two disused toilets in the city centre of Oxford. One underground, St Giles by the bus stops, and one at the back of the county hall. Well, Oxford City Council didn't exactly know what to do with them, so they asked us, and of course we asked you. First off, though, we got some inspiration from those people who've already revamped a lav. People like Laura. Remember Laura? She created a home in a public toilet in Crystal Palace.
About 7 or 8 years ago, I was walking past these kind of old, brown, beaten-up toilets in Crystal Palace, and I thought, wow, I bet there's some fantastic space under there. But it took quite a while to get through to the council, to get to the right person to go and see them. It took about 6 months, in fact. But eventually I went down. We had to crowbar the door open.
Oh, dear.
And they'd not been touched for about 30 years.
Ooh.
In fact, there's still the coffee cup where the last attendant obviously just left it and locked up, and that was that.
Oh,
So
no.
it was very eerie, and it was thigh-high with rubbish and dirt and chicken bones and things.
What was the smell like?
But it wasn't too smelly, because I think because they'd been decommissioned for a good kind of 20, 30 years, it wasn't too bad.
Yes, okay.
When you walk... Really,
yeah, go on.
I was going to say, I really got a sense of the space, and they had the old Art Deco urinals all along one wall, and I just totally fell in love with the place straight away.
That was Laura's story. And then there was Mark. He turned a public lav into a music venue.
We negotiated with the council to hire the building, first of all, which we got control of it in 1992, and the forum opened in 1993, January 15th, 1993, so it's our 20th anniversary this year. And it's been fantastic. I mean, it's been a fantastic success.
Was it difficult to get your hands on the toilet and turn it into a music venue? Was that a difficult process?
Well, we're quite firmly established now. We own the building ourselves, so I can exclusively reveal that, yes, we told a number of outrageous lies to persuade. Yeah. So if you have any listeners that are thinking of opening a toilet, I mean, Oxford is quite similar in its politics to where we are in Tunbridge Wells. So you must say that it'll mostly be Western classical music.
Yes.
We originally called ours the Collegiate Forum, as they particularly like Latin words they don't understand.
Good. I like this.
And we said it would mainly be full of relatively old people enjoying string quartets. And then, of course, as soon as we opened it, immediately filled it with incredibly extreme heavy metal.
That's Mark's story. A home, a music venue, even a cafe, all things to do with a disused loo. And we asked you, and you came up with some brilliant ideas, and we're going to put them to our panel very shortly. Let's start, shall we, with Councillor John Tanner. He's the man at the council that's in charge of these loos, amongst other things, of course. Councillor Tanner, good morning to you, sir.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Give me the lowdown on these labs, if you will. They can't stay as toilets, no?
No, the one in the centre of town was closed a few years ago by the Lib Dems and the Green Party, and I closed the one near County Hall with the underpass because of the problems we were having in the undesirables using it. And we would be absolutely thrilled if somebody can take these toilets off our hands. We've only a limited amount of money, as everybody knows, and I would prefer to spend it on doing up Market Street and Gloucester Green toilets than spending it on taking down or concreting over the old toilets that we don't use or don't need anymore. So if somebody can come up with a good scheme, we would be delighted. But I hope they'll tell us the truth.
Yes, of course. Yeah. How much do I need in my back pocket to capture your carsy?
If somebody wants one of our carsies, and it's not going to cost the city council and the taxpayer anything, they can have it for nothing. But so if they want to come up with a scheme, take it off our hands, that would be great. Of course, the one near County Hall it'll be time limited because of the Westgate shopping scheme coming on stream shortly. But as far as the one in St Giles is concerned, The problem there is access, which is why we don't use it anymore, because it's a dangerous road to cross, and then you've got the steps down and all the rest of it. But if somebody can think up some good schemes, they can have it.
Have you anything in mind as far as a good scheme is concerned, or are you completely open?
I'm completely open. I was thrilled when I knew that you were having this debate on Radio Oxford, because I think it's exactly right. It's the people's toilets and it's the people's disused toilets. So let's hope we can get some bright schemes, and I would love to. Get the Lord Mayor along to open whatever it is, whether it's a cafe or a home or whatever it is.
OK, stay there if you will, John. We have some ideas for you. We've been collecting them all week. We're joined also on the telephone by Mike Bone. He knows a Kazi when he sees one. He's director of the British Toilet Association. Hello, Mike.
Good morning.
What do you make of this toilet dilemma we have in Oxfordshire, Mike?
Well, as I've mentioned before on your programme, I would prefer that local authorities continue to provide toilets. But I do understand in current economic climate that's not always possible. So at least if we're reusing those facilities for the benefit of local residents and visitors, then it's a very good idea, rather than the buildings just going into disrepair and disuse and being vandalised.
OK. And the toilet czar from the Oxford Mail has joined us in the studio, smiling away. We love having him here. It's Jeremy Smith. Good morning, sir.
And good morning to you too, Mr. Boyden.
What do you think of the story so far?
Well, I'll be straight with you. I think it's terrific. Personally, as many people who know me will tell you, I actually have a weak bladder and I am looking for somewhere new to live. Now, somewhere that actually has 3 or 4 urinals already on hand would be terrific. Because, to be honest with you, I'm fed up of wearing tenor ladies.
Well, Laura's done it in Crystal Palace and she had to buy hers for 20 grand. Spent another 60 grand on doing it up, but now it's worth 250 grand.
That's a lot of money. Personally, I think Oxford City Council are great, but I can't stand the County Council. I think that they should move their offices to the toilets below ground in St Giles. I think that would be an ideal use of that facility.
It has been suggested. Lord B said that. John in Charlbury, Roger in Wheatley and Sue suggested an alternative museum, Malcolm, and a tourist information area, maybe, so that you could go down, you could link up to some of the tourist attractions nearby. There could be some interactivity involved as well.
Well, I mean, think about it. Once you come up above ground, you do have fabulous views of the Ashmolean, the Randolph, Tesco, and if with a pair of binoculars, Debenhams too. So it's a prime location here we're talking about.
John Tanner, what about that? An alternative museum stroke tourist information centre. The problem with the St Giles one, of course, is that you have to cross the road to get to it.
Yeah, but I think if somebody's prepared to come up with the money for it, another information centre, any alternative use. The problem is the City Council is strapped for cash, but if somebody else wants to put the money up, then I hope the planning process would smile on this, because it's much better to have these things in use than just sealed up with a metal door. I think it looks horrible.
What about this? Big Tell suggested on the text, he's a genius, this bloke, a joke shop called Toilet Humour. How about that, Mike Bone? Oh.
Well, I don't know if that's been tried before. I don't particularly know it's appropriate, but it might be a bit of fun. I also have ideas, for example, for part of the toilet being turned into a florist or perhaps a tea shop. So, in fact, you keep the toilets open but have a premises next to it generating money, and the people who run the shop or the flower shop then look after the toilet. So it doesn't cost the council anything, and we retain a facility for public use.
How about that? That's sort of an halfway house, John, isn't it, that?
Any use at all would be fantastic. I mean, I think all these ideas are great. And, if you go into Market Street and look at some of the slogans we put on the wall, you'll see there's quite a lot of toilet humour there already. And
yes.
That's just great. But, if it's a choice between spending money on closed toilets or doing up new ones and or doing up some toilets and, getting the books and the flowers and all the rest of it in there, then I'd rather spend the money on that. But, you know, if somebody would come along and take these toilets off our hands, anybody listening today has got a bright idea. As long as they'll pay for it themselves, I will do my damnedest to make sure we give them the building.
Jeremy?
Well, I'm surprised, to be honest, that Sainsbury's haven't applied to have a store there.